My mother threw me out like garbage. Months later, my father called, furious about his repossessed truck. I simply said, I stopped paying for it. My mother slammed the door in my face. I slept on the floor for weeks. Then my father called, screaming, "Where's my truck?" I told him the truth. This is how my story began. My mother cried, "Get out, you're a leech." So I left. Months later, my father demanded to know why his truck was gone. My response left them stunned. Thank you for being with us today. Before we get started, I'd like to know where you're watching from. Leave a comment with the city where you live. Now, let us get into today's story. I'm 22, standing in the living room where I've spent my entire life, and my mother's speech rips through me like a dull knife. You're a selfish leech, James. Get out and don't come back. Her face is flushed, her eyes wild, as if I've damaged something she can't repair. My father is sitting by the recliner, staring at the floor, his silence as heavy as her words. My older sister, Emma, leans against the wall, her lips twisted in a triumphant smirk. My younger brother, Liam, mumbles, "Good riddance," under his breath and kicks the carpet. I've always been the odd one out, working late at the auto shop to help pay bills, electricity, Wi-Fi, and other necessities they take for granted. Tonight's fight, I missed Emma's birthday dinner. I was doing a double shift that month, covering their internet. Nobody cared. We've had arguments before, but this one feels different. Final. My mother's words are more than just the heat of the moment. They are like a door slamming shut. I go to my room with a creaky bed and faded baseball posters and take my duffel bag. I pack jeans, a few shirts, and an old jacket, things that smell familiar, like motor oil and laundry soap. My hands shake, yet I continue to move. I want to say something to make them notice me, but my throat is constricted, so what's the point? They have already chosen who I am. I go outside, and the night air stings my face. The porch light hums, casting shadows on the blue mailbox we painted when I was 10. I hear the door lock click behind me. My beat-up Chevy is parked out front with $200 and a half-empty tank. I step in, grip the steering wheel, and feel the weight of everything: my mother's rage, my father's silence, Emma's sneer, Liam's punch. I'm not simply leaving a house, I'm losing them. The road ahead is dark, and I have no idea where it leads. But I start the engine, promising myself that I will make it. I slept very little for the first few nights after leaving home. Mike, my auto shop mate, allows me to crash on his couch, which I appreciate, but it is not home. His apartment smells of coffee and dog fur, and his pit bull, Rusty, snores like a carburetor. I lie there, staring at the ceiling fan's blades, which wobble like my thoughts. I keep picturing my mother's angry face and my father's gaze locked on the floor. I wonder whether they're sleeping well, if Emma is still smirking, and if Liam feels any guilt. Mike doesn't press me to talk. He simply hands me a beer and says, "You'll figure it out, James." He has his own bills, however, and I can't stay forever. I spend my days looking for a place of my own. The auto shop pays well, but rent is expensive in this town. I travel about, examining gas station message boards and flipping through greasy classifieds. Most apartments require first and last month's rent, as well as a deposit, which is prohibitively expensive with $200 and a tight budget. I'm not picky, but I want something that is mine, a space to breathe in. After a week, I discover a listing for a studio on the outskirts of town. It's an old brick building with a partially operational buzzer and a dumpster in the back. I meet the landlord, a man in his 60s with a sandpaper handshake, who looks at my work boots and says, "You seem like you'll pay on time." The apartment isn't particularly impressive. It's a single room with a dripping sink, a fridge that hums like it's planning something, and a window that's stuck shut. The carpet is stained, and the lights flicker if you turn the switch too quickly. But standing there with my duffel bag thrown over my shoulder, I feel a rush of something, maybe pride, maybe relief. I sign the lease, hand over every cent I own, and receive a key that feels heavy in my hand. That night, I move in with just a sleeping bag on the floor. The walls are bare, and the silence is loud, but it is a start. I go to the thrift store the next day, my budget as tight as a rusted bolt. I find a mattress lumpy but clean for $20 and a lamp with a dented shade. The cashier, a woman with silver hair and a warm smile, asks if I'm setting up my first place. I nod without saying much, yet her kindness stays with me. Back at the apartment, I place the mattress beside the window and plug in the lamp. It casts a soothing glow that makes the room feel less empty. I take out a poster from my bag, a tacky mountain scene from a yard sale years ago, and tape it above the bed. It's not much, but it is mine. That matters. Lying on the mattress that night, I can hear the neighbor's TV through the wall, a game show with clapping that feels like a planet away. I remember the house I left, with my mother's meatloaf in the oven, my father's baseball games on the radio, and Emma's playlist playing. I used to fix their leaky faucet and mow the lawn before work. Did they notice I was gone? I tightened the sleeping bag, my chest heavy, not with anger but with something softer, sadder. I'm not sure who I am without them. I spent so long trying to keep everything together, paying bills they never thanked me for, working multiple shifts so Liam could get new sneakers. Now it's just me, and I'm not sure if that's freedom or a void I can't fill. I close my eyes, the drip from the sink marking the seconds. I convince myself I can make this work. I'll get a chair, maybe a rug, to make this space feel more real. I see the auto shop tomorrow, the familiar clank of tools and the guys laughing over lunch. It isn't family, but it's something to hold on to. I'm not sure where I'm going, but I have a key, a bed, and a light that I own. For now, that's enough to keep me going day by day. The auto shop is now my lifeline, a noisy refuge of clanging tools and engine oil. I'm up before dawn, putting on my worn boots, the soles peeling like old memories. My studio is still bare, only the mattress, lamp, and that mountain poster. But I'm out the door quickly, coffee thermos in hand. The shop is a mile away, so I walk to save gas. The air is crisp, smelling of dew and asphalt, and I let the rhythm of my steps drown out the silence in my mind. I don't think about my mother's voice or my father's silence. Not out here. At work, I'm in my element. By 8:00 p.m., I'm wrist deep in a Chevy engine, troubleshooting a misfire while the radio plays classic rock. Pete, Carlos, and Big Ray make good company. They tease me about my coffee addiction but don't ask questions. I like it. I'm not ready to talk about being kicked out or how my family treated me like a leech while I kept their lights on. Instead, I focus on spark plugs, oil changes, and the satisfying click of a wrench. I work every extra shift I can, staying late to rebuild transmissions or balance tires. The overtime is a lifesaver. My rent is paid, and I have enough for a foldable chair and a microwave. Small victories, but they add up. Lunch breaks are my favorite. We sit outside on milk crates, eating sandwiches from the deli across the street. Pete's always got a story, some wild one from his trucking days, and Carlos laughs so hard he chokes on his soda. I join in, chuckling, but I keep my own stories private. I don't tell them how I used to eat dinner with Liam and make jokes about superhero movies or how my father and I would tinker with his old radio in the garage. Those moments seem to belong to someone else's life now. Still, the guy's conversation fills a void and helps me feel like I belong somewhere, even if only for an hour. But then, one evening, my phone vibrates as I'm closing the shop. It's Liam, and my stomach twists. I haven't heard from him since that night. His text is short and sharp. Real nice. James. Bailing on us and still owing Emma for that phone bill. Low, even for you. I stare at the screen, the words blurring. I paid that bill $120 last year after Emma promised to repay me. She never did. And now Liam has twisted it, making me the deadbeat. My thumb hovers over the keyboard, itching to respond, to tell him I covered their Wi-Fi and groceries for years. But I stop. What's the use? They've already written their version of me. I shove the phone in my pocket and walk home, the journey feeling longer than usual. The streetlights flicker, casting shadows on the cracked sidewalk, and I feel a burning in my chest, not just anger, but something deeper, like a bruise you don't notice until you press it. I remember coming home from work and finding my mother setting the table, the aroma of her meatloaf in the air. I'd fix whatever was broken, a leaky sink, a wobbly shelf, because that's what I did. Did Liam forget that? Did they all? Or did they just not care? At the apartment, I collapse onto the mattress, the springs creaking beneath me. The neighbor's TV murmurs through the wall, some cooking show with cheerful noise. I take out my phone again and reread Liam's text. Part of me wants to call him and ask why he's doing this, but I know it won't change anything. Instead, I place the phone face down and stare at the poster, its painted peaks glimmering faintly in the lamplight. I'm exhausted, not just from work, but from carrying this weight, this ache I can't name. I tell myself, tomorrow's another day, Another shift. Another chance to build something new. I close my eyes, the microwave buzzing softly, and hold on to that thought, small as it is, because it's all I have. I am at the kitchen counter, which is really just a slab of formica in my studio, when I discover my bank account is bleeding. It's Sunday. The shop is closed, and I'm sipping instant coffee while scrolling through my phone. Rent is paid, groceries are stocked, mostly ramen and canned soup, but the numbers don't add up. I've been careful, avoiding diner runs with the guys and buying only what I need. So why is my balance shrinking each month? I scroll through the statements, my thumb smearing the screen, and find it, a regular payment, $180 per month, tagged Autolo and D. Harper. My father's truck. My heart pauses, then thuds fiercely. I've been paying for his truck since I was 19 when he swore it was just for a while. He never mentioned it again. I never stopped. I put the phone down. My coffee has gone cold. The apartment is silent, with only the hum of the refrigerator and a distant car horn outside. I remember bringing them cash from my first shop paycheck, proud to help. My father's only comment was, "Good job, James." And that was enough. I didn't question it, just as I didn't question paying for their Wi-Fi or Liam's phone plan. It was what you did for family, right? But now, sitting here, I see it clearly. They leaned on me, and I let them, invisible like a worn-out tire. I grab my jacket and head to the bank, my legs moving faster than my thoughts. As I cancel the payment, the teller, a woman with a name tag reading Doris, smiles at me kindly. "You sure?" she asks, her glasses slipping. I nod, keeping my voice steady. "Yeah, I'm done." Walking back, the air is heavy with impending rain. Yet I feel lighter, like I've shed a coat I didn't realize I was wearing. But there's a tug, a persistent doubt. What if my father can't cover it? What if they lose the truck? I picture him in the driveway, polishing that old Ford like it was his pride and joy. My mother bringing him iced tea on hot days. I shake it off and kick a pebble down the pavement. They kicked me out. They called me a leech. I don't owe them anything, not anymore. Even so, the thought lingers like grease under my nails, hard to scrub away. Back at the apartment, I tidy up to keep my hands busy, stacking dishes and folding my one nice towel. I glance at the mountain poster, its peaks sharp against a fake sunset, and wonder if my father even knew I was paying. Did he think it was magic? Do trucks just pay themselves? I snort, but it's not funny. I've spent years supporting them, my paychecks vanishing into their lives while they looked right past me. Canceling that payment was about more than money. It was a line in the sand, saying I matter too. Later, I head to the corner store, needing air. The clerk, an older man with a Vietnam vet cap, chats about the weather while ringing up my bread and milk. "Storm's coming," he says, nodding at the grey sky. I smile, but my thoughts are elsewhere, replaying Doris's question, the weight of the cancelled payment. Back home, I make a sandwich, the bread a bit stale, and eat standing up, staring out the stuck window. The first raindrops hit, streaking the glass, and I feel that bruise in my chest again. Not anger, but something softer, raw. I'm free of their burden, but it's not a victory. It's like finishing a book you'll never read again, knowing the ending isn't what you expected. I sit on the mattress, the lamp casting shadows, letting the rain's patter fill the silence. I don't know what's next work tomorrow. Maybe a new chair if I save enough. But I know one thing, I'm done carrying what isn't mine. It's a small step, but it's forward, and that's enough for now. I'm sweeping the shop floor, the broom's bristles scraping the concrete, when my phone vibrates in my pocket. It's a slow afternoon, the kind where you can hear the hum of the neon sign out front. I've kept my head down since stopping my father's truck payment, focusing on my work and the small life I'm building. The apartment now has a second-hand table, a wobbly thing I got for $10, and I've been sleeping better. The drip from the sink is almost comforting. But as I check my phone, my stomach drops. There's a screenshot from Carlos, one of the shop guys. Emma has posted on social media a photo of my mother, eyes red, sitting at the kitchen table where I used to eat. The caption reads, "James walked out on us. Left mom like this. Some family, huh?" There's a thread of comments, strangers calling me a deadbeat, a selfish jerk, worse. My palms feel clammy as I lean the broom against the wall. The shop is empty, just me and the faint smell of oil and rubber. I scroll through the post. Every word is like a punch. Emma's crafted a story where I'm the villain, abandoning them without reason. No mention of how I paid their bills, fixed their leaks, kept them afloat. No mention of my mother screaming me out the door. The comments sting most from people I've never met, judging me with sharp, careless words. What a loser, someone says. His poor mum. Another comments with a crying emoji. I want to type back, tell them the truth, but my fingers freeze. What could I say without sounding desperate? Like I'm begging to be believed. I shove the phone aside and step outside. The air is warm and heavy, the parking lot quiet except for a stray cat darting past the dumpster. I sit on the curb, elbows on my knees, trying to breathe. It's not just the post, it's the weight of being erased, turned into someone I'm not. I think of my mother's table, the one I sanded down when I was 16, how we'd laugh over her lumpy mashed potatoes. Was she really crying? Was it staged for Emma's camera? The thought twists something in me, not quite anger, more a hollow ache. Back inside, I can't focus. Pete notices and asks if I'm okay, but I just shrug and say, rough day. He nods, doesn't push, which I appreciate. Later, I clock out and head to the shop's back lot. I've been tinkering with an old motorcycle I found a beat-up Yamaha bought cheap. It's a mess, the frame rusted, the engine coughing, but I'm in charge of fixing it. I grab a wrench and work on the carburetor, the metal cool under my fingers. Each turn, each adjustment, feels like something I can control. The shop's radio plays low, an old country song about loss and moving on. I let it sink in. This bike isn't perfect, but it's honest, no lies to unravel. I work until sunset, the sky bleeding purple, my hands smudged with grease. The engine's sputter is a small win, it's getting closer to running. I wipe my brow, thinking of Emma's post, my mother's face, those comments. They hurt, yes, but they don't tell the whole story. I picture my apartment, the table, the lamps glow. It's not much, but it's real, built with my own sweat. I don't need their version of me. On my way home, I pass the corner store, its lights buzzing. The cashier, the vet with the old cap, waves as I grab a Coke. You look like you're carrying the world, he says, half smiling. I manage a chuckle. Just a piece of it, I reply. Back in my room, I sit on the mattress, the neighbor's TV playing game show cheers. I don't check my phone again. Emma's post can sit there, unanswered. I'm tired not of work, but of their weight, their lies. But as I lie back, the bike's hum lingers in my mind. I feel a spark, hope maybe, or just stubbornness. I'll keep going, one bolt at a time. My phone rings as I'm wiping oil off my hands at the shop sink. The sound cutting through the evening hum. It's my father. I haven't seen his name on my screen since I left months ago. My pulse races, but I dry my hands with a rag and answer, stepping into the break room for some quiet. His voice is rough, like he's chewed gravel. James, why was my truck repossessed? No hello, no how are you. Just a question heavy as a dropped wrench. I lean against the vending machine, its soft buzz grounding me, and take a deep breath. I stopped paying for it, I say calmly, despite the knots in my stomach. Dad, you kicked me out. I don't owe you that anymore. There's a pause, long enough that I hear a dog barking on his end, maybe a neighbor's mutt. I picture him in the kitchen, standing by the fridge with the chipped handle I fixed last year. You can't just do that, he snaps, his voice rising. That's my truck, James. I close my eyes, the break room smelling of burnt coffee and engine oil. I could yell, tell him I paid for years while he said nothing, but I don't. Instead, I keep my tone even. I've covered it since I was 19. You never asked how, never thanked me. I'm done carrying that. He sputters, his words tripping over each other. That's not how family works, he says, like I've broken some rule. I almost laugh, but it catches in my throat, sharp and bitter. Family? I think of Emma's post, Liam's text, my mother's screams. I think of my studio, the wobbly table, the motorcycle I'm bringing back to life. That's what I'm building now, not their idea of family. Maybe not, I say, but I'm doing what I need to. My hands are steady now, gripping the phone, and I feel a shift, like a bolt clicking into place. My father tries again, his voice lower, almost confused. You're making this hard, son. The word stings, not because I want it, but because it feels hollow, like an old tire with no tread left. I glance at the break room clock, creeping past 6. I have dishes to wash at home, a carburetor to tweak tomorrow. I've got to go, I say, not harsh, just final. He starts to speak, but I hang up. The silence is louder than his words. I step outside, the shop's lot bathed in dusk's grey light. A breeze carries the scent of cut grass from somewhere, and I stand there, phone in my pocket, feeling raw but solid. My father's call shook me, yes, but it didn't break me. I'm not the kid who paid to be needed anymore. I walk home, the sidewalk familiar under my feet, knowing I meant every word. I'm still catching my breath after my father's call when my phone buzzes again, the shop lot fading into twilight. My mother's name flashes like a warning light. I pause, thumb hovering, then answer, bracing myself. Her voice cuts through, high and ragged. "James, how could you do this to us? That truck was your father's lifeline." I'm walking home now, boots scuffing the sidewalk, streetlights flickering on. I don't interrupt her. I let her talk. "After years of paying their bills, what do I get? You're tearing us apart," she says. I hear Emma in the background piling on. "James, you're so callous. They're always a team." Liam's there too, I can tell, but he's quiet, like he's holding his breath. I stop by the corner store, its neon sign humming, and lean against the brick wall, phone pressed to my ear. I could shout back, list every dime I spent, every late night at the shop so they could have cable, groceries, Emma's phone. But I don't. My voice comes out low, calm, like I'm talking to a customer. "Mom, I paid for that truck for years. Wi-Fi, bills, all of it. You never said thanks. You called me a leech and told me to go. I'm done carrying you all." There's a beat of silence, the air heavy like a storm's coming. I hear a chair scrape, maybe my mother's sitting down. Emma mutters something I can't make out. I push off the wall and keep walking, the store's glow fading behind me. My mother tries again, softer, almost pleading. "We're family, James. You don't just quit." I think of my studio, the wobbly table, the motorcycle that sputtered to life last week. That's my family now, things I build, not beg for. Family sees each other, I say, my throat tight but steady. "You didn't see me." I'm at my building, the buzzer humming as I step inside. I hang up before she can reply, the click final, like a door locking. Inside, I collapse onto the mattress, the lamp casting a warm circle on the wall. The neighbor's TV plays a rerun, the laughter fake and distant. My hands shake, not from fear, but from something else like a weight lifting. I hear their voices, my mother's desperation, Emma's venom, Liam's silence. They wanted me to fold, to apologize, but I didn't. I laid out my truth, plain and simple, and it feels like standing after a long fall. I grab a Coke from the fridge, the cold can stinging my palm, and sit by the window, watching headlights cut through the dark. I'm not angry anymore. It's quieter, sadder, like losing a song you once knew by heart. But I'm here, in my own place, and that's something they can't take. Tomorrow, I'll be back at the shop, wrench in hand, building what's mine. It's been 6 months since I hung up on my mother, and the pain hasn't gone away completely. It's quieter now, like a radio turned low, humming in the background. My studio is home now, still small, but mine. The wobbly table has a plant on it, a cactus I haven't killed yet. The motorcycle is done, its chrome gleaming under the shop lights. Riding it down back roads, the wind rushing past, feels like flying. I don't hear much from my family. My father texted once, hinting we'd talk soon, but I didn't reply. Carlos said Emma's still bitter. Her post didn't break me. My mother tells people I went my own way. Liam's the odd one. Pete saw him at the deli and said he looked like he wanted to say something, but they didn't talk. I'm okay with the quiet. The shop is my anchor. Pete, Carlos, and Ray aren't just co-workers, they're the guys who show up. On slow days, we grill burgers out back and laugh at Ray's terrible jokes. I have a routine, work, ride, tinker, with a new project, maybe a coffee table next. My fridge has more than ramen. I splurge on steak when I'm feeling fancy. Last week, I fixed the sink, stupid little thing, but it felt huge. I'm not rich, but I'm steady, building a life that fits me, not them. Nights are when I think most. I sit by the window, the lamp on, the neighbor's TV playing late-night talk shows. In my head, I see my mother's kitchen, the sanded table, my row system. I'm sorry, but it looks like the story got cut off. I notice the artifact contains the full corrected story up to a certain point, but it seems incomplete. Would you like me to 1. Provide the corrected version of the remaining part of the story to complete it? 2. Return the artifact, as is with only the corrections made so far? 3. Make any additional specific changes to the existing text. Please let me know how you'd like to proceed, and I'll generate the appropriate artifact with the requested changes.